Shana Tova, everyone. There we go. One more time. Shana Tova, everyone. Okay, there we go. Welcome to Machar's Rosh Hashanah Day service for 2025 as we enter the year 5786 in the Hebrew calendar. And as I said to the kids earlier this morning, the new year in the Hebrew calendar is 5786, but once you get that high, who's counting? I'm glad you've all been able to join us this year. For those who've not met me before, I'm Jeremy Kreidel. I've been the rabbi at Machar since about 2017. If you are new to Machar, welcome. I hope I get a chance to meet you, even if it's only briefly. If you've been with us before, welcome back. I'd also like to talk with you. It's not like I only want to talk to new people and then, whatever. I'd like to talk to you too, but also I know you probably have a lunch appointment after this or something. I know that some of us are more or less comfortable with being in a big room like this, and so we're also being joined by returning and new participants at home or kind of anywhere around the world. There's somebody in France, online via the internet, right? We don't have the, or at least I don't see any TV image of me, which is great because it gets creepy, but we have folks joining us online. If you are in the room today, please note that there are restrooms on this floor and on the floor below. The restrooms can be used by whoever wants to use them. They say what kind of equipment is in each room on the door. Take note as well of where the emergency exits are. There's one there are a few around. They don't all work for people with mobility challenges. So please, it's like on a plane. The one that's closer to you isn't necessarily the one you're supposed to go to. We don't anticipate things happening, but the world's unpredictable, and so it's good to know. If you've been with Machar before and you blanked out last year, or you've been with Machar before but you weren't with us last year, and I guess those are overlapping categories potentially too. In either case, we're a little more rounded in the seating than we used to be, right? We're trying to do like a community thing a little bit, but there's so many of you in the community that we can't have you all pointing at each other, so we're doing this. It turns out it's not a community if everybody just stares at the back of somebody's head and that's it. I'll be joined today by a number of readers, our choir and accompanist, and our Ba'alimot Tikiya, our shofar blowers. We'll also have a talk on this year's theme, Disquiet, from longtime Machar member Joe Palka. It's a busy day, but before we go further, about our books. The books you have, if you're in person with us today, include a section toward the back that we've named the hymnal section. I know, hymnals are not a thing that is normal in Jewish practice. Just go with it. The sheet music is back there. As we get to different songs, I'll tell you what number song in the hymnal section to go to find the lyrics and the sheet music. It just lets us be more environmentally friendly when we change things. It sounds more confusing than it is, and there was also an insert with additional material. We'll use it all. I promise I will make it so that you don't get lost. I know it's easy to sit for a while in a space and find yourself distracted, and there's not going to be lightning that comes in through the windows if you get distracted today. Or if you find yourself needing a break, or if you find yourself thinking about something that just isn't Rosh Hashanah related. It turns out our brains take us places we need to go, and so if you get distracted, that's okay. I'll be calling out page numbers and things like that. I do suggest, to the extent suggestion means, no one wants a disapproving glance from up here, I think. I do suggest turning the ringer off on your cell phone. Or other mobile devices. I know some people also have tablets with them and smartwatches, and just make sure we don't get beeps. Or the way I say at weddings, no one wants to be that guy. Many volunteers have helped make our high holiday services possible, and we'll be thanking them later today. For the moment, please remember that none of this is actually possible without their efforts and without you being here. We don't just do this so that I have a place to stand on a stage and whoever shows up, well, that's nice. This is really for you. Before we turn to our service in earnest, if you're in the room here today, please take a moment to just say hello to the people around you, particularly the ones you don't know. Yeah, say hello to your family members too, but say hello to the people you don't know so that you meet new faces. Everyone, hey, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Another day where that crowd control technique wins. I'd like to introduce our president, Will David, who also has some welcoming remarks.
Good morning. I'm Will David. This is my second year as president of Machar. With us today are both longtime and new Machar members, family and friends of Machar members, former members who are back for high holidays, guests, and I'm excited that there are over 20 of you here today who are visiting, who decided to join us for high holidays and learn more about Machar. So I want to take this opportunity to share a little bit about us. For those who are not familiar, Machar is a secular, humanistic Jewish congregation, a part of the Society for Humanistic Judaism in North America. Humanistic Judaism focuses on non-theistic approaches to Jewish culture and is based on the belief that it is the responsibility of each of us to be ethical, kind, and compassionate, and to use reason and rational thought to solve problems. Our liturgy is designed to appeal to these humanistic attributes. We warmly welcome into our community all those who feel connected to Judaism or to the Jewish people, whether by birth, choice, family relationship, or otherwise. The theme of our high holidays is disquiet, given how many of us are feeling in the tumultuous environment in which we live. The opposite of disquiet is calm. And one way in which we as humans feel calm is through connection. Connection with others who share our values and who are thoughtful and understanding. For me personally, this is what has kept me active in Machar beyond when our girls were bat mitzvahed here 6 and 8 years ago. I know that this is also true for the many longtime members who are here and who have felt this connection with the Machar community for decades. Back to those of you who are new to Machar or visiting us for high holidays to see what we're about. I hope you will introduce yourself to me and to Rabbi Jeremy. We'd love to connect you with Machar members with whom you may have things in common and invite you to join us for other Machar events. We have a vibrant Jewish Sunday school here for children in grades K through 7 with over 50 students that meet 24 sessions during the year. We offer a unique bar and bat mitzvah, or as we say, bar mitzvah program, where the students highly personalize their ceremonies and their presentations. During our Sunday school sessions, the adults participate in adult education, where we have interesting speakers who cover a range of topics, from national and international events to learning about other communities around the world, aspects of Jewish history, to being Jewish on college campuses, to Jewish humanistic perspectives on death and dying, to delving into Jewish ethics and values, and much more. Sometimes on these Sundays, we just focus on getting to know each other better and building community. Whether you are a young adult, a couple, a family, or an older adult, we have groups in which you can get involved, including social action, choir, Machar Sisters, our care committee, nature lovers, membership, adult education, and others. However, you may be struggling with what is happening in this country and in Israel and in Gaza and the West Bank. If you are a thoughtful and empathetic person, there is a place for you here at Machar. To all of us, may our time together during these high holidays bring us a sense of connection and a sense of calm. Thank you for being here. Shana Tova.
We will start where things often start, page 1. I know, there's a cover, and the cover is page 1. It says page 1. Go with page 1. In the Rosh Hashanah service, it's fine if you turn to the Kol Nidre 1 or Yom Kippur Day, but you're not going to follow along. It's going to go bad real fast. Welcome and Happy New Year. Shana Tova. We have come together as family and friends, as congregation members and visitors, as people of diverse heritages, to join others throughout the world in celebrating Rosh Hashanah, New Year's Day in the Hebrew calendar, and the anniversary of the world's creation according to the Talmud. All of us are here today because of our connection to the Jewish people through birth, choice, and association. As the first day of the year, of the Jewish year, Rosh Hashanah marks a turning point of hope between what was and what will be, between what is and what ought to be. We share with many a humanism that draws us together here in our common quest for moral self-assessment and self-correction. As one year ends and another begins, we gather to each reflect upon our words and deeds and to renew our commitments and efforts to improve ourselves and our world, to fulfill our human potential. And together, we are here today to celebrate another year of life and reflect on the year that is ending, on our milestones and our mistakes, our joys and our sorrows, on the lessons learned and the challenges and questions still to be faced. Let us begin by singing a song wishing peace and well-being to one another, Havenu Shalom Aleichem, which is number 1 in the hymnal section. So that should be easy. You just turn to the hymnal section. It should say 1 right next to it. I'd like to invite up our first reader, Shoshana Gitlin, who will co-lead the service in its first part along with me. We are on the bottom of page 1, rolling on to page 2. In most other festivals, the spirit is one of joy. Yet Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are imbued with a seriousness born of the sense of responsibility that each of us bears for our own life and ethical choices. These days are also different in that they are not nature festivals, nor do they commemorate an historical event. Rather, they are observed respectively as the ceremonial beginning and ending points for a period of intensive reflection, when we each confront the negative consequences of our mistakes and misdeeds as we strive to make amends and turn a new page in our lives. Together, let us support, challenge, and help empower one another to foster such improvement.
Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year's Day, but in contrast with the New Year's of other peoples, it is greeted with solemnity as well as revelry. As we begin our ceremony, we light these festival candles to illuminate our self-examination and to express our hopes for the future.
Nivarech et haor ba'olam, nivarech et haor ba'adam, nivarech et haor yom tov. Let us bless the light in the world. Let us bless the light in humanity. Let us bless the light of the holiday.
Just as candles radiate warmth and illumination, so too may we. Just as our forebears kindled such flames for themselves and us, so too may we shine our lights for the present generation and those yet to come.
So we are on the bottom of page 2, and we have Eifo Ori. I know that there is a standard issue humanistic Jewish version of Eifo Ori, and we're not singing that one today. We have made a commitment to have a little bit less in the way of minor key Jewish stuff and a little bit more major key kind of Jewish stuff. I can promise that the melody is from a Jewish songwriter. If you need a reference, we can talk about that after. It is number 35 in the hymnal section, if you have it in your hymnal section. If not, there's another Eifo Ori in there. The words are the same, just the sheet. The dots are different. That's about it. Yes. So here's the thing about the way we're going to do this. You know, you've seen those bumper stickers, "Keep Austin Weird"? we're going to make Machar a little weird. At least by Machar measures, we're going to make Machar a little weird. And so what's going to happen is we're going to learn the melody first with a little bit of yai, die, die, lie, 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 the Jewish la, la, la stuff. We'll do the Hebrew, we'll do the English, and then I'm going to make it weird, because we're going to keep going with the lie, lie, lies afterward for a little bit, because I know there's a lot of people in here thinking, and you sometimes need a little encouragement to feel. So we're going to make you feel uncomfortable a little bit for a little while, so that you can kind of open up a little bit, because that's the point of the holiday, is opening up and self-reflection and all of that. So I'm telling you this now because I've been here since 2017. I know how we all are. And also, it's the morning. You weren't banking on being told to sing for a while, so I get to just upend your expectations. And for those who were here a little early and heard the sound check, no, it's not AC/DC. That was just for the early arrivers. Still got a little bit of that grit on it, though. Okay. Maybe we'll get a little less of that on there. Okay. That seems to have made it worse. We'll go with it. The sooner everyone's singing, the sooner we're done. I knew I just had to find the right incentive. So we're on the bottom of page 2. Since ancient times, Jews have gathered on this day, lit ceremonial fires, sang and recited liturgy, celebrated the new year, and reflected on their lives.
Today, we remember all the times that we came together during the year with family and friends to light candles and sing. Together, we remember times of joy and sorrow. Together, we contemplate how to live better lives. Together, we renew our covenant, our commitment to shared ideals.
These memories of the past
and
ideals of a better future help shape and give meaning to our lives. These memories and ideals link us with our forebears and heritage, and we hope with generations to come. As we reflect on our good fortune to begin another year of life, let us say a Shehecheyanu, a celebration of the new, the rare, and the wonderful. Nivarech kol dor vador shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'hikianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Let us bless the goodness which we have encountered in this world, which has kept us alive and sustained us and brought us to this moment.
Let us celebrate this Rosh Hashanah, this head of the new year, by being mindful of how we help create the world in which we live. Let us begin this new year by cleansing our hands and our hearts, by correcting our mistakes and making amends with those we have hurt.
Let us value this day of celebration and reflection by striving to put our hearts into all we do, today and every day. Let us inaugurate this new year by being truly present and engaged, by reaching out to others, by lending a hand.
Let us
fill this new year with healing and growth,
with joy and insight, with our efforts for the advancement of freedom, equity, and peace.
If you are willing and able to do so, please stand and sing along with me to the traditional melody of the Shema, our humanistic Shema, which affirms human diversity and unity. Shema Yisrael, Im kol shonutenu, kol ha'adam echad, kulanu na'avod, letakein et ha'olam hazeh. Hear, O Israel, with all our diversity, all humanity is one. Together, let us work to improve this world. You may be seated. We are in the middle of page 4, or a little bit toward the bottom.
Let us encounter all the world with appreciative and insightful love, deep and healing love, liberating and joyful love. Let us rejoice in love and in the fertility it brings to the human experience.
Love expands our abilities to explore and express ourselves. Love deepens our feelings of connectedness and individuality. Love helps us reach across the boundaries of ego, class, creed, ethnicity, and nation. Love heightens our senses of meaning, beauty, and wonder.
Let's love all the world with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our might. And these words will be upon our heart always. Let us learn them by heart with our children, and let us speak them often, as we sit in our homes and walk along the way, as we lie down and rise up.
Let us attach them as a sign to guide our minds and our hands. Let us write them on mezuzot in our homes
as lessons. Make every duty.
Let it be words of love that we speak and live by, not words of gossip, ill will, or cruelty, not words of lashon hara, the evil tongue. We are in the middle of page 5, and we are going to join together in singing Hine Matov. There are lots of Hine Matov melodies. The one we'll do today should be relatively familiar to people who have grown up singing Hine Matov or who have otherwise been forced to hear it over and over, even if they themselves chose not to sing because OMG again. And it is number 4 in the hymnal, is that right? Yes, so our choir will lead us in that.
We're going to sing This Is Around, and so
Yes.
we hope you will all join us. And why don't we move over this way a little bit? We'll just, yeah, we'll go first.
You will be conducted by the choir, doing it as a round. So this is one side, this is another. Look at your side, at the people on your side for your prompting. I promise it will work. We've done it many other years. We skipped it last year. It's back again. Whether you like it or not. As it turns out, we picked the music, not you. I know, it was funny, right? For a second there, Michael, it was funny. Thank you, Shoshana. Thank you, Shoshana, for co-leading with me today. And I'd like to call up our second reader, Jack Schwartz, as we head into our Amidah. Many years, I have stopped and explained here why we're doing an Amidah at all. And I'm going to do that, but only briefly, because really there's more to talk about than, look, Rabbi Jeremy reread the Amidah section in the Jewish liturgical history textbook. There is, in fact, a Jewish liturgical history textbook, in case you were wondering. Jacob will talk about how you get that. There's a rabbinical student in the room, so. Basically, the Amidah's job when the rabbis put it together was to serve as a stand-in for what the immediately prior generations had lost, access to daily worship at the temple in Jerusalem. And rather than try to restart the practices of animal sacrifice someplace else, the rabbis decided to shift toward using words, deciding that talking about things was the theological equivalent of sacrifices. I know why, but it's not an obvious one-to-one, right? The sacrifices happened on a schedule, and that schedule was brought over to a standing prayer called the 18 Blessings, or Shemona Esrei, which just means 18 in Hebrew. Although I guess it would not shock you to find out that there are actually 19 blessings in the 18. Even Orthodox Judaism changes. Standing in Hebrew is Amidah, and you stand for this, hence that's the word we use. It's a little more complicated, but that's the nutshell. But here's the real question, in case you've ever asked this of yourself. Why are we here saying things aloud at all, whether together or responsively or alone? Why do we do the holidays like this? How many people have heard of this thing called manifesting? Yeah, some people are laughing because it's like a social media thing that was real big during the pandemic. I'm manifesting XYZ. You can define it a lot of ways, but I'm going to go with Psychology Today's definition as a starting point. Quote, manifesting is the idea that through power of belief we can effectively think a goal into becoming reality. It is a form of magical thinking, or the need to believe that one's hopes and desires can have an effect on how the world turns out. The article with that definition goes on to talk about the idea that what we can somehow affect with what comes our way from outside of ourselves can be changed by how we think, about the idea of mind over matter, and that research doesn't really support the idea of manifesting, because you do still have to do stuff to change things. Or, to quote them, people who believe in an internal locus of control are generally better positioned to achieve their goals and to make healthier choices in that direction than are people who believe their outcomes are determined by external forces. It did not say like Mercury in retrograde, but belief that hope and intentions are enough is inconsistent with what is really needed to effect change. And so here's the question. Is this any different from manifesting? Like, that's a legitimate question you can ask. Why are we doing this way? The world outside is not almost screaming. I have almost written in my notes. It's not almost screaming, it is screaming. Politics here in the US, wild rightward swings in countries that seem democratic, an outright invasion of an attempt to seize Gaza, mass seizures of people here in the US, Benjamin Netanyahu finally saying what he always really thought about a two-state solution. In case you missed that news item, I'm going to do my best Benjamin Netanyahu here, which isn't very good. There will never be a Palestinian state. Outright attacks on the First Amendment by the United States government, and 2 years passed with hostages still held in Gaza. Did you think we were kidding when we said the theme for this year is disquiet? I list all that and ask, why are we here in this room? Why are we doing this? Is this any better than looking in the mirror while you brush your teeth and thinking, this will pass and we will be better people? Obviously, there's an element of your mileage may vary on all of this, but whether you call it a third place, or a social practice, or heaven forfend, religion, or whatever, we've become accustomed to what we're doing sometimes without thinking about it all that much. It's September. Rosh Hashanah's coming up. Is it early or late this year? I've got late, medium. Every rabbi will always tell you it is right on time. It is the 1st of Tishrei, and that's when Rosh Hashanah is. Almost a century ago, Emil Durkheim wrote a book called The Elementary Forms of Religious Life. I'm sure it's better in the original French, but I read it in English. And identified the origins of what we now call religion in something much more human and basic than the lofty ideologies and theologies that make up the ideas behind the modern idea of the synagogue. Religion, he said, had its origins in shared identity. At bottom, what we're doing expresses and reinforces for us who we are. It's an expression of belonging to, and importantly, finding hope and support in community. And that's ultimately what this is about. Community, not just coming together. We are here because of shared values, shared hopes for the world, shared aspects of our identities, and we need one another. Singing together, reading together, simply being together as a community with shared values and hopes for the world lets us find support in one another. The Amidah asks us to take a moment and not simply be present and speak along. It asks us to, if we're able to, literally take a stand together, to support one another, to encourage one another, to identify who we are, and to know that there are others working with us, to not simply talk about change, but to take all the words and use them to propel us forward into life. With the literal thousands of words we speak today, make any change on their own? No. But if you find value in even one of them, if you find allies in this room while uttering even one of them, and you take that with you into working for peace, then the Amidah has done what it was supposed to accomplish. That's especially true when now so much seems so broken and needs so much of our work to make it better. And so we are on the middle of page 5. Since the temple stood in Jerusalem, Jews in a standing position, Amidah, have idealized qualities which they attributed to their ancestors and deity. If you are able, please stand together now to proclaim our shared ideals and our will to act upon them. Let us remember those who have come before us, who have given us life, love, and our culture. Such is our Zikaron Chazdei Imot V'Avot, our remembrance of the kindness and merits of our mothers and fathers.
Let us work together in mutual aid to benefit all.
May we thus advance mutuality, Gemilut Chasadim, our best response to being parts of a vast and interdependent world.
Let us be thankful for all that sustains us, for all that gives us contentment and joy, compassion and understanding.
May our efforts help bring such well-being to all who live on earth.
Let us work for peace, shalom, in our relationships, our communities, and our world. Let us recognize and celebrate our differences to better live together on this one planet. Let us work to heal the sick and sustain health, to give to the weary strength and life renewed, to support those who have fallen, to uplift those bowed down, to free those in bondage, to abolish both greed and poverty, to repair and improve the world.
Hava na'avod, l'rapei cholim u'lechalkel briut, latet la'ayef koach v'chaim mechudashim, lismoch noflim, lezokef kefufim, lehatir asurim, levatel gam betza v'gam oni, letakein et ha'olam. You may be seated. We are on the top of page 7. Rosh Hashanah heightens our awareness that each human action or inaction may have significance in what Jewish lore and liturgy call the Book of Life, Sefer HaChaim, of which we are all together both authors and subjects. This mythic book is thus comprised of the totality of our human experience.
This book of life is imagined to be our collective record of all our deeds, from best to worst and those in between. We celebrate all that are laudable, and we feel regret and anxiety over our mistakes and misdeeds. We fear that their consequences may haunt and shadow us, blocking our way to the better future we desire.
Unatana tokef kedushat hayom ki hu nora va'ayom. Let us acknowledge the distinct power of this day, for it is one of awe and angst.
Let us acknowledge the distinct power of this day to remind us that all human beings are together co-authors of the Book of Life. Yet, while we all miss the mark, go astray, often harming others and ourselves, we all are also able to make substantive change to counter the negative outcomes of our own mistakes and misdeeds. Let's begin the new year by each listening to the still small voice of conscience within us.
Uvashofar gadol yitaka, v'kol demama daka yishama.
The great shofar will be sounded, the still small voice will be heard. Having heard the call of conscience, let us engage in moral renewal.
At Rosh Hashanah, we are mindful of how we may each engage ourselves in turning new pages in a book of life, compiling humanity's good works. Jewish tradition, as summarized by the stark poetry of the Unatana Tokef, prescribes 3 ways of countering the negative consequences of our deeds: teshuvah, tefillah, and tzedakah.
Teshuvah here means answering for our wrongs, taking responsibility for them, and returning to the right path to reach our moral goals.
Let us
turn from wrong and do good, seek peace and pursue it. Let us take responsibility for our lives and make teshuvah. Let us make paths to reach our moral goals. Tefillah is commonly translated as prayer, yet is also related to words for hope, imagination, seeking, examination, thought, decision, and judgment. Humanists may therefore interpret and value tefillah as self-examination, introspection, soul-searching, as well as moral reckoning and accountability, all of which in Hebrew can also be called cheshbon hanefesh.
May our introspections help us renew our hopes for the improvement of ourselves and our world. May our words of reflection today be the seeds of our deeds in the year ahead. Tzedakah is generous and magnanimous moral action for justice. Often translated as charity, tzedakah includes and transcends philanthropy. Tzedakah at its best creates empowerment, cooperation, and equality. May we give generously of ourselves and our wherewithal to help bring about a better world of which we dream. May we do what is right and just.
Let justice roll forth like waters, and tzedakah, moral action, like a stream ever flowing.
V'yigal kamayim mishpat, u'tzedakah kanachal etan. May our ideals and hopes help guide and inspire our actions in the year ahead.
Let us commit ourselves to such deeds in this world today and every day. Let us all be thus dedicated and appreciated, devoted and acknowledged.
Nihya kulanu, kadosh ukdosha, kadoshim ukdoshot.
Let us encounter each person as a precious presence, a sublime jewel of life. Let us thus see and feel, hear and smell, taste and celebrate the beauty of this world. All the earth is full of merit and splendor, all beings full of worth and wonder.
Melo chol haaretz kavod.
And thus, may we help all of humanity to become one fellowship with a heart at peace.
Uvechein na'azor kol anoshut lehavot, aguda achat v'levav shalem.
And thus, let us encourage hope, and let us work for the end of tyranny and for the growth of liberty and justice.
Uvechein na'ametz tikva v'na'avod lasof shel memshelet zadon v'ligdol cherut u'tzedakah.
And thus, let us renew our vision, our commitments, and our efforts for the improvement of the world, for tikkun ha'olam. Let us recognize our shortcomings and our potentials, find contentment and joy in life as we work to live up to our ideals. As we begin this new year, let us appreciate all the goodness that we experience and create in this world, and let us work together to save this world for future generations.
The moon is dark tonight, a new moon for a new year. It is hollow and hungers to be full. It is the black zero of beginning.
Now you must void yourself of injuries, insults, incursions. Go with empty hands to those you have hurt and make amends.
It is not,
It's not too late. It is early and about to grow. Now is the time to do what you know you must and have feared to begin.
Your face is dark, too, as you turn inward to face yourself, the hidden twin of all you must grow to be.
Forgive the dead year. Forgive yourself. What will be wants to push through your fingers. The light you seek hides in your belly. Wants to stream from your eyes. You are the moon that will wax in new goodness.
Thank you, Jack, for helping to co-lead this part of the service. I'd like to invite up our speaker from the congregation today. Joe Palca may be a familiar name to many of you. For 30 years, he was a science correspondent with NPR, and before that, a print and television journalist. Joe and his wife Kathy Hudson and children Sam Palka and Jacob Hudson have been members of Machar for 19 years, though it's fair to say that Joe has largely been a member in hiding since Sam and Jacob graduated from Jewish Cultural School. Joe does read all our emails, so he knew Rosh Hashanah was coming up and accepted our invitation to speak on this year's topic of disquiet.
Thanks for inviting me, and thanks to my son Jacob, the rabbi in waiting, and Sam and Kathy for helping me with this. So in 1965, my 7th grade English teacher was a man named Tek Young Lin. Mr. Lin frequently brought up themes of social justice in his classes. He made us aware of various atrocities that were occurring around the world. I'm sure we talked about the Vietnam War, probably the Civil War in the Dominican Republic, probably the famine in India at the time. I found these horrors quite upsetting, and I wondered how people managed to live anything resembling happy lives, knowing that many people, many millions of others around the world were suffering. So I asked Mr. Lin about that, and his simple 2-word answer sticks with me to this day. We forget. We put it aside, we live our lives, we think of other things, we forget. Mr. Lin's words came to mind a few weeks ago when an email appeared in my box from Howard Dubowitz. He urged people to read Jonathan Safran Foer's acceptance speech of the 2025 Primo Levi Prize. So I did, and it was wonderful and thought-provoking. Foer says that Primo Levi intended to disturb people by writing about his experience in Auschwitz. As Foer explains in his talk, Levi believed it happened, therefore it can happen again. The it is not the cataclysm of the Holocaust, but the unresponsiveness that allowed it to happen. There is a demand at the bottom of all of Levi's work: stay awake. Not just alert to history, but vulnerable to the present. And a little further along in his talk, Foer says, Judaism has always placed discomfort at the heart of moral awakening. Foer's speech was on my mind when I received an email from the extremely persuasive Nadine saying Rabbi Jeremy would like me to give a talk at today's service on the subject of disquiet. Now, because my son Jacob will tell you I am the walking embodiment of the term dad joke, my first reaction to this request was, I don't know much about disquiet, I'm better with dat quiet. But I decided I could say something a little more thoughtful, and with the help of Foer's speech and Mr. Lin's explanation of how we live with the horrors of the world, and my good friend the Oxford English Dictionary, I came up with something to say. So the OED tells us that disquiet is a verb to deprive quietness, peace, or rest, bodily or mental. It also has come to mean uneasiness, anxiety, or worry. Well, I got plenty of disquiet. I spent more than 4 decades as a journalist. I tried to present accurate information about science and medicine. Am I biased? Yes, we're all biased, consciously or unconsciously. But my bias is toward the scientific method for reaching conclusions, not to find the evidence or words make up the evidence to support my conclusions. Apparently, all the time I was doing this, I was an enemy of the people. Who knew? It disquiets me. Free speech is under attack. After complaining for years about the liberal media silencing conservative voices, these same critics are calling for political humorists, satirists, to be thrown off the air. And now Secretary of War, Peter Hegseth, tells journalists they can only parrot information the Pentagon feeds them. Failure to do so means losing your press credential. I expect RFK Jr. is cooking up something similar for medical reporters. As I say, disquieting. In addition to defining words, OED also gives examples from literature of how they're used. I found one of these examples relevant to today's talk. In 1581, George Petty, who I'm sure you're all familiar with, published The Civil Conversation of M. Stephen Guazzo, also a household name, written first in Italian and now translated out of French. In it, Petty wrote, To attain to learning, there is not only required a will, but study, watching, labor, and disquiet, which are irksome things. Yes, disquiet is irksome, but like discomfort, I think it's possible to echo Jonathan Foer and say disquiet is also at the heart of moral awakening. And if our disquiet helps us attain learning, and if we learn from history that what's happening in the world now has potentially cataclysmic consequences, then surely we must do something. But what? In a way, that's my greatest source of disquiet. What to do? And my conclusion is just do something. Put up a sign, make a donation, do volunteer work, vote, encourage others to vote, continue to engage in civil discourse, give talks at Rosh Hashanah services, whatever. Bemoan if you must, and I must, I confess, but also ask yourself what you can do to help keep the world from tumbling into darkness. And then do it. Thank you.
Well, he said something similar to what I was going to say, so maybe we'll just go home. No. Mine is actually a little bit darker. I know, hard to believe. We are on the top of page 11. Thank you, Joe, once again for your speech. We're on the top of page 11. We will not be singing Seasons that says song up at the top. But we will be inviting our third reader today, Laura Preval, to come co-lead our service. A couple of years ago, I explained why we have these things called Machar verses, these sovereignty verses, and other things. And I think for this year, we're just going to stick with these themes show up in the traditional Machar, the gigantic book that is the High Holidays book at a lot of places. And basically, it's all tied up in vertical relationships between people and the above. But they are also about us, about malchuyot, control or self-control. And we actually talked a little bit about that without telling them that that's what they were getting in the kids' service today. And at the kids' service, they agreed that ultimately they agreed, took a little bit, that no one person should be king of the world. Initially, they thought it would be great until they realized that they might not be king of the world. And then things took a turn. So we got the right lesson taught. This is our version of that lesson. And so we are on the top of page 11. Humanity has long cherished enduring ideals of a just order, transcending the misrule of tyrants and the sorrows that flow from our own misjudgment and misdirection.
Rosh Hashanah is also called Yom HaDin, the Day of Judgment. We gather to observe this day as one dedicated to human self-examination, self-judgment, and self-correction. We make this season one of moral renewal as we begin the new year together, by each of us acting as the author of our own becoming and inscribing our hopefully ever-improving selves into a metaphorical book of life.
It is upon us. It is our responsibility together to cultivate and sustain progress in this world using our evolving capacities for human self-determination and harmony. We are connected with the peoples of all other lands, all the families of the earth. Our lot is the same as theirs. Thus, we must stand together for equality, liberty, and peace. The highest value is in the breath of life. Nothing is more precious.
Man's plight would, indeed, be sad if he had to be kept in order through fear of punishment and hope of reward after death.
Man must break his fetters, which have chained him to the gates of heaven and hell, so that he can begin to fashion out of his reawakened and illumined consciousness a new world upon earth. We are on the top of page 12 for our shofar service. Choir will lead us in Tiku B'Shofar, which translates to sound the shofar. And after that, I will invite up our shofar blowers to do just that. And Tiku B'Shofar is number 18 in your hymnal section. I'd like to invite up our shofar blowers, Solomon Sandler and Everett Tavachman, as we get ready to hear the shofar sounded. When we sang that song, there were two words that sounded probably fairly similar. One was tiku and one was tir-u. So tiku means blow the shofar, tir-u means sound an alarm on the shofar. And if you know enough Hebrew, you might have picked up on tiku is like tekiah and tiru is like teruah. And we didn't use the third shofar note, which is shavarim, which means broken notes. Because if I were to tell you, tishbaru ha-shofar, you would throw it on the ground and break it. So we don't sing that version. Let us now listen to the voice of the shofar. Hava nishma kol shofar, aleinu. It is upon us, it is our responsibility to strive to live up to these values. In each of us may our conscience, enlightened judgment, and commitment be roused by the shofar's sustained blast of tekiah, by the broken notes of shavarim, shavarim, by the staccato alarm of teruah, and by yet another blast of tekiah. Stay there. They're like, we're not done? No. However, we will not be doing the we blow the shofar 100 times thing that happens in a lot of synagogues. So we'll maintain a little bit of air volume for you. Can you imagine having to blow the shofar like that 100 times? We are in the middle of page 12 at the remembrance verses.
Today is also called Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance. Since antiquity, this day has been a time for Jews and any who sojourn among them to remember both what is and what ought to be, both the real and the ideal, both their own words and deeds, good and bad, and the moral covenant in which they cooperate for the improvement of the world, Tikkun HaOlam. Such remembering drives our moral reckoning as we feel the vast gap between our vision of what we should do and what we have actually done.
Today and every day, let us remember and act upon our human solidarity, compassion, and ideals that constitute our covenant for a better world. May the shofar awaken us to be ever mindful of our expansive covenant, which reaches from our forebears to us and on to the many generations yet to be born. We're on the top of page 13. Guys, get some air? Everett doesn't need to breathe to blow a shofar, apparently. Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah. And we are at the top of page 13 at the trumpet verses.
Rosh Hashanah is also called Yom Teruah, the day of sounding the shofar. The primal blasts of the ram's horn trumpet have for thousands of years proclaimed the cycles of the years and months, the inaugurations of war and peace, new rulers, decrees and freedoms, as well as calls to conscience, hope, and action. Today, the shofar can still help move us if we but choose to be so moved.
In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you will have a day of rest dedicated to the remembrance of your deeds with the sounding of the shofar, a special assembly. Sound on the new moon the shofar, on the full moon of our festival day.
Like the thunder on the mountain, let the shofar sound. Like strings and drums, reeds and cymbals, let us hear the music of its call.
Tekiah, Shivarim, Tekiah. Thank you to our shofar blowers. We will give their lungs a workout one last time, but it will be right at the very end. So you guys are free to not have everyone looking at you with a horn in your hand. We are toward the bottom of page 13 at Tzrichim Anachnu Tzedakah V'Chesed, which is number 6 in the hymnal section. If you're expecting Avinu Malkeinu, that, along with something like the traditional Shema, we do that from the front, and that's the end of my contract. Our Father, our King, doesn't sit well with a lot of people. However, us needing to make change, which is what Tzrichim Anachnu is about, probably sits well with an awful lot of us. And so our choir will lead us in singing that as we wrap up the shofar part of our service. down at the bottom at the poem titled Beginners on page 13.
To imagine the fullness of life. How could we tire of hope? So much is in bud.
How can desire fail? We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. To envision how it might be to live as siblings with beast and flower, not as oppressors.
Surely our river cannot already be hastening into the sea of non-being.
Not yet. Not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended. We have done to each other that cannot be forgiven. We have begun to know the power that is in us if we would join our solitudes in the communion of struggle.
So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud.
Many thanks to Laura for co-leading our service. Thanks to Solomon and Everett for blowing our shofar. Shofarot, plural. If the choir wants to scoot to other seats, they are welcome to do that. They could stay here, but it'll feel weird for me to be walking right behind them the whole time. That's the nice thing about this, is I don't have to stand there the whole time. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to read you a tweet. Everybody thinks it's a Donald Trump tweet. It's not. I know you did. I said I'm going to read you a tweet, and I heard people laughing because you thought for sure. I'm going to read you a tweet, and then I'll provide a little context. Here's the tweet. Our NC Group militia will be there Friday at UNCW. There are 13 to 15 students, 3 professors, and 3 admin that have posted hateful rhetoric. We have their schedules and locations. We will take care of the problem. And the tweet tags at the end of it, at UNC Wilmington, as in University of North Carolina, Wilmington. My friend posted a screenshot of that tweet onto her Facebook timeline on Friday and said, parenting in the 21st century. In case you were wondering what the cost of public officials calling for going after the left is, my kids, she lives in North Carolina, spent 3 hours locked in a locker room last night while their classes are canceled today because the Proud Boys wanted to, quote, take care of a student who painted over a memorial in the school's public spirit rock. David Letterman asked during an interview with The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg about Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, said, we can all see where this is going, right? It's managed media. He then continued, you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful of or you're trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works. Jimmy Fallon offered the kind of comment he's prone to offering when it comes to something being genuinely difficult. But to be honest, I don't know what's going on, and no one does. That is, as some folks are prone to saying, some bullshit. Our theme this year is disquiet. We face a host of troubles. Every day feels like an exercise in keeping in disquiet, in keeping on the waiting for what's next. And it's one thing when we look at a Stephen Colbert situation and we find a network ending a late-night franchise to curry favor for a merger. That's bad. And yet, do we necessarily expect better of a major corporation in this environment at this time? Bad, not necessarily a constitutional problem. Different altogether when we find a network taking action on a direct suggestion from the head of a government agency invested with regulating communications in a manner that fits the Constitution's mandates. In this case, the FCC, to dismiss an employee because the White House didn't like what he said. This is all a bummer, right? And the name of the holiday is not, as it turns out, First Amendment Musings with Rabbi Jeremy. Plenty of undergraduates got that when I was still teaching college. I'm not going to do that to you. But it is time to take stock of the year that's passed. And after all, the big themes of the holiday, of the high holidays as a group, are review, repent, and renew. Take another look. Accept fault again. Right? Repent is to take fault, be punished again. Make things new again. If I had to try to sum up much of the last year, I tend to think of it as a year, not the year, but a year, when America hardened its heart. And when we think about the year that's passed, I see a possible danger for us. Not that the hardened heart will turn its attention toward us because, look, that ship has left port. But that we will harden our hearts in turn. That's largely the point of the heart-hardening politics of our time. Authoritarian politics thrives on division and creates more. It compounds social division by making the authoritarian's opponents as hard as the authoritarian's allies. Some of this is in the nature of how politics on the authoritarian end just works, and a little bit of human nature. High walls on one side tend to create high walls on the other because we have this little good fences make good neighbors instinct. But plenty of this is intentional and cynical because the authoritarian's use of language is itself cynical. If you have not read Sartre's Anti-Semite and Jew, you owe it to yourself to read it. Heck, I'll go home and find the page and send it to you that explains how this game works with language. It abuses the flexibility of symbols and forces others to throw up boundaries and limit their use of language while allowing the authoritarian to move the goalposts over and over and over and over again, faster and louder, leaving others in a chaotic wake, casting out more and more of the people we are and the people we care about. In the chaos of trying to bring order to the world, to language, we can find ourselves drawing lines too. First, they're fine lines, and they get broader and broader and broader. And I won't argue that we don't need to draw lines, because we do. But we need to avoid letting the lines be the thing that defines us. We need to remember why we drew them and why we are who we are. We need to remember why we believe what we believe and why we do what we do. Because at the end of the day, the humanistic part of humanistic Judaism has one thing at its center. It's not an idea, it's not a philosophy, it's a feeling. And if you are a 70s arena rock fan, it's more than a feeling. Someone was here during the sound check when I was playing More Than a Feeling. It's love. Love is a feeling, and it's a way of taking action, and it envelops the kinds of actions we would take. When authoritarians draw a line that wants to force out trans folks, we have to redraw our lines to make it clear that we love trans folks and other gender nonconforming folks and other queer folks. Not just because some of our members are trans or gender nonconforming or are queer, though they are. Not just because some of those who work for us or with us are trans or gender nonconforming or queer, though we are. The same is true for those who are members of an ethnic, racial, religious, or other minority. It's true for immigrants to this country and for those who are straight and cisgender but nevertheless find themselves written out of the authoritarians' ever-narrowing circle of concern because of their politics or their reading preferences or who their friends are. We need to redraw our lines because we need to make sure our lines are about who we are and what we believe rather than because we're responding to the lines someone else draws for us. That doesn't mean we bring in people who want to harm us. It doesn't mean we forgive everyone. Not all things can be forgiven. And the point is not to embrace everyone regardless of what they've said or done. The point is we need to actively rethink and redraw our lines because that's part of what it means to love. To have and care for ever-growing and ever-changing circles of concern. And that, when someone is pushing on you from outside, is hard. It's easy to jump at the easy political joke, to take the easy swipe at public officials who, it must be said, have their own interests at heart rather than the best interests of us all. You know it's easy because when I said I was going to read a tweet, you assumed you knew what was coming. You very much didn't. There's something valuable in knowing people who don't live where you do. It's easy to point out and ridicule the bad, and it's harder to take the next step and reach out to those who need it when we're hurting, when we're safe, but are afraid of becoming unsafe. It's hard now. It's not going to get easier. That's part of the point of that Martin Niemöller poem that everybody knows that begins, "First they came for the communists." The story of the poem is complicated. It's not really clear he wrote it at all. At various points over the years and in various readings, communists have been replaced with socialists. Trade unionists were in there, but sometimes they're omitted because in America people don't actually know what a trade unionist is. An American version in the 60s removed, this is great, removed communists, because America, and put in industrialists. Who were not, as a class, subject to persecution in Nazi Germany, but America has always had a very special view of the place of the industrialist, I suppose. However one encounters the text, it's not there only to convey the idea that as the power of the state of Nazi Germany grew, there were fewer people to help. The poem shows how easy it is to draw "there but for the grace go I" as a line built from not love, but the need for self-preservation. Authoritarianism presses against the boundaries, and the self-preservation of "thank goodness it's not me" is natural. But it also means we're not doing what we need to be doing, which is pushing back, which is resisting by broadening those we count as people we love. The poem tells us with every line that Niemöller's failing was that he didn't love others and didn't act for them, and so there was no one left who loved him when he needed it. And the poem isn't wrong. Niemöller started broadly supportive of the Nazis, until he wasn't, and acknowledged that had the country's pastors really dug in, we might have lost 30 or 40,000 of us, but we might have saved 30 or 40 million. And we know the list of people in the poem and in Niemöller's own writings is incomplete because he doesn't mention queer folks, who were actually the first people to have their books burned. Not Jews, not communists, not socialists. They are the first people who were sent to concentration camps. In the speech that seems to have led to the poem being written down, Niemöller mentioned disabled persons, but the poem never seems to have mentioned disabled persons. And yet, it's disabled persons who were the test case for the mechanisms that would become the death camps. What does seem clear is that however we ended up with "first they came," it points out woeful inadequacies that we're all able to fall victim to in understanding whom we love. And more than that, it shows what happens when we don't love. It's not that no one loved Niemöller. It's that he didn't recognize whom he should have loved, which meant anything he did came too late. At its best, the love that makes up our ethical compass, our humanism, stands against the disquiet of the world. To paraphrase Todd Stiefel, humanism is love. Love that increases happiness, that rejects terror, that welcomes everyone, that grows. It's love we can share in our lifetimes and in this life now. Even in disquiet, humanism stands for love, not just the feeling, but the work of bringing genuine love into the world. And so I want to share a reading with you. You don't have to read it aloud, but it is in your insert as item number 4. I'm going to read it aloud here because I think that despite the source, it's written by Maxim Gorky, and he was, after all, closely associated with the Soviet Union's cultural legacy, despite his difficult relationship with, among others, Joseph Stalin. It nevertheless suggests a kind of ideal of what we might wish to see and where we'd want love to take us. And I apologize, the translation is not a gender-neutral translation. There will come a time, I know, when people will take delight in one another, when each will be like a star to the other, and when each will listen to his fellow as to music. The free men will walk upon the earth, men great in their freedom. They will walk with open hearts, and the heart of each will be pure of envy and greed, and therefore all mankind will be without malice, and there will be nothing to divorce the heart from reason. Then life will be one great service to man. His figure will be raised to lofty heights, for to free men all heights are attainable. Then we shall live in truth and freedom and in beauty, and those who will be accounted the best will the more widely embrace the world with their hearts, and whose love of it will be the profoundest. Those who will be the best, who will be the freest. For them it is the greatest beauty. Then will life be great, and the people will be great who know that life. Knowing how hard so many moments have been, and how much harder later moments will become, I hope you'll join me in committing to the continual process of drawing lines with love, and that you'll join me in an adaptation of a modern Jewish song that calls on us to do more than draw lines, but to build a better world moved by the love in our hearts. And you can find the words for it on that insert. It's the very last one, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We will get there. We will get there. So it's not in your book. It's a secret. I'm going to teach it. So you've had a chance to look at those words. So it says, the words in Hebrew are Olam Chesed Yibaneh, which means a world of righteous love shall be built. The traditional, it's written like 20 years ago. The traditional version of this uses some more traditional theistic language, so ours is an adaptation of that. And what we'll do is we'll do the Hebrew first, so that you can kind of get used to the tune, and then, you can sing the English and not feel quite so lost. But there's some lie kind of stuff in it too, so hopefully we put it all together and it'll make a little bit of sense. As we mark this new Jewish year, I hope that we each find not only the love we need for ourselves, but also that we find the love we need to avoid hardening our hearts, to protect others, and to work for the change we need to make the disquieting present something different. Shana Tova. I'd like to now invite up our last reader for the day, Eva Gerhardt, as we start our section on the new year and new life. We're in the middle of page 14. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. That life is both fleeting and uncertain is a truth that presses upon the mind with special force as the year ends and the new begins. Time speeds on and we go with it, and though we have seen the year close, we can never be sure of seeing the end of the new. Since life is so fleeting and frail, we must begin the serious use of it at once, and begin it by entering upon the task of self-examination and self-ennoblement, which is its essential preliminary. A new year, say the rabbis, should inaugurate new life. We won't be singing when I'm gone. We will be singing Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav is, if you have it in your hymnal section, number 33. For folks who grew up in Reform synagogues and some conservative synagogues, the tune will be familiar, the words will be maybe a little familiar, a little unfamiliar. You sing whatever words you sing. I will tell you that when we do Naaseh Shalom, I hear about 8 different versions coming out of you people every year, because there are so many versions of Naaseh and Ya'aseh Shalom, and everybody grew up with something different. Shalom Shalom Let us consider the limited time we have on earth and use it wisely. May we use with diligence and foresight our span of time. Bottom of page 14.
May we cherish and steward the best legacies of generations past and through our own deeds contribute to generations present and future.
Generation upon generation, door by door.
May we cultivate the virtues that shine forth the highest qualities of our shared humanity and elevate the human experience. There are those who now look back in complacency and indifference, who accept the fruits of the long journey but ignore the bitter costs of liberation and its lessons in tenacity and endurance. They are the strangers, and the road passes them by. There are others who look back in gratitude and humility, who remember that few present blessings have been won without the sacrifices of the past, who continually reevaluate the spiritual and cultural treasures that the travail of the journey has produced. These are the true heirs of the generations, and for them the long and agonizing journey has been worthwhile.
If you take a look at the supplemental readings you received when you came in today, you'll notice that we have two brief readings, number 2 and number 3, each listed as, quote, a kavanah. Kavanah is a Hebrew word meaning intention, and we can use a kavanah as a way to focus our attention on the theme of a passage or the meaning of an activity. We know the Kaddish as a mourner's text, but even the most traditional forms of the Kaddish are not really about loss at all. They're about things we so highly value that we would call them holy or sacred, things we desire, but maybe also fear, and which as a result hold special power and meaning for us. You may find one of those two texts helpful in approaching our mourner's Kaddish today, rather than just seeing it as another, oh, we stand now, kind of an exercise, which I know is what a lot of people think with the Kaddish. We've inherited a Jewish tradition of several milestones that mark how Judaism has understood the time frames for the mourning process. These occur at 7 days, 30 days, 11 months, and 1 year after the death of people we care for. If you are presently mourning the loss in the last 7 days of someone dear to you and you're willing and able to do so, please rise so that we can provide support for you at this time. If you're presently mourning the loss in the last 30 days of someone dear to you and you are willing and able to do so, please rise. If you are mourning the loss of someone in the last 11 months, please rise. If you are mourning the loss of someone, the anniversary of whose death is around this time of year, please rise. As we now remember our loved ones and so many others who have died, let us recite together responsively an affirmation of our dedication, our Kaddish, to life and its improvement. And if you are able and willing to do so, please rise. And we read together, let us recall each person of blessed memory in all their humanity, with all their strengths and limitations. Let us honor and learn much from the best and the legacies of our loved ones past, for the sake of all those who now live, and for the sake of all those who will yet come to live in this world. Thus, let us stretch ourselves to reach for greatness, and let us dedicate ourselves in the name of the living multitudes of this world. Nit kadal v'nit kadash b'shem ribui hachayim ba'olam hazeh. May it be our heart's desire to work for healing and equity, for freedom and peace, to cultivate these in our lives and in our days, and in the lives of everyone in the world, swiftly and soon. Tehei masat libenu, lif'ol lema'an refuah v'tzedek, chirut v'shalom, legadel otam b'chayenu uvyamenu, uv'chaye kulam ba'olam. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'havanomar, Amen. And let us say, Amen. Let us bless and praise the memories of our loved ones with our actions. Nivarech u'neshabeach otam. Let us remember them in their glory and at their heights. Nizkor otam b'tiferet u'veromamut shelahem.
To carry on the best elements of their lives with splendor.
Nisa b'hadar.
May we ascend in the shining examples of their praiseworthy deeds.
Na'aleh b'divrehem l'halel.
Even as we speak We know that the value of each life exceeds all that can be expressed in blessings or in songs, in praises or in words of consideration.
Kodesh hanefesh oleh mikol, brachot oshirim, shvachim onechamot. And we are in the middle of upper half of page 17 at Na'aseh Shalom, which is, we're using number 8 in the hymnal section. If you end up saying a different set of words because you know a different set of words, or because your brain just automatically switches on you after years and years and years of some other version, it's okay. Sing it how you sing it. We're just glad that you're here and singing. You may be seated. And we read together on page 17, just below the name of the song, "Let us make peace in the world is our responsibility." Let us reach out to one another to help bring peace to those in grief and strife. Let us care for each other wherever someone suffers loss.
We all need community as we encounter life's peaks and chasms. Let us make our congregation a sanctuary of humanity, a place to feel our pain and our joy together, a space to plumb the depths of our souls and heal our wounds together, a spiritual home where we share our poetry and songs, our visions and labors of love.
For those who mourn, let us offer you an oasis of peace in this caring community. For the ones we mourn, let us find lessons and inspiration in their legacies. Let us remember righteous actions for blessing. Nizkor tzedakah livracha. Amen. We're on the top of page 18. Just as we remember our loved ones past and celebrate the best in the lives they led, so too do we have hope for our children and all who will yet be born into this world. We bless you and watch over you with our love, and we hope that your learning and good deeds bring you joy and long life. May you help others and be an example to all, just as others help you and show you the paths of goodness. May the best within you shine forth with compassion, and may you always lift up your face to meet others in peace.
As we hope for peace in the world, we must commit ourselves to working for peace. While force may sometimes be necessary to defend ourselves, we also know that violence and war are not able to solve humanity's problems, as they themselves are part of our moral failings. Let us renew in our deeds the words of the ancient Hebrew prophets Isaiah and Micah, who taught that nation shall not raise up sword against nation, neither shall they any more learn war.
We're not going to be singing Bashana Haba'ah this year. I mean, look, it's a song that was written at the end of the 1967 war, and we're not there yet. However, because we are starting our high holidays with this service today, if you would look at the insert that you received, text number 1 is titled Reform. And we will read that responsively. I'll read the block, you'll read the italics. It has been raining again. I've been indoors meditating on the shortcomings of life. Wish there were more kindly persons in the world. Our competitive life develops selfishness and unkindness. I'm determined to do something about it. I cannot hope to convert many persons. To convert one person, I shall do well.
I shall begin with the person I know best, myself.
When it rains and one is much indoors, one is likely to meditate on the shortcomings of life.
Let me think. How shall I make myself kind, gentle, considerate?
I do believe it has stopped raining. I shall go out now. I'll go and shoot on the archery range. I'll not bother to reform myself today. Perhaps tomorrow, if it is raining and I must stay indoors and meditate on the shortcomings of life. Thank you, Eva, for leading the fourth part of our service. We are on the bottom of page 18. For those keeping track, there's 21 pages in the book. For those not keeping track, there's 21 pages in the book. A statement of fact is still a statement of fact, even if you don't care. We're at the Kiddush section, and so to conclude the ceremony, it says we. You'll get your snack later. Mine's already up here. To conclude our ceremony, we'll drink a toast to the new year, break bread together, and share apples and honey, all of which express our hopes for sharing a sweet and bountiful new year. First comes our toast, our Kiddush, dedicated to the new year. Wine, symbol of pleasure and sorrow, symbol of passion and the blood of life, symbol of plenty and of excess. Let us bless our lives and the new year by fostering community, by sharing our joy, our spirit, and our bounty, by inviting visitors to join us, by welcoming the stranger, by caring for those in need. Let us celebrate wine as a symbol of all that is good in the world. Let us drink a toast with the fruit of the vine to life. Nivarech et borei pri hagafen, let us bless those who create the fruit of the vine. Together, each time we break bread, let us commit ourselves to a covenant for a better world. Nivarech et hamotziim lechem min haaretz, let us bless those who bring forth bread from the earth. The apple's beauty, fragrance, and taste inspired ancient Jews to see it as a symbol of sensuality and the lust for life. The apple was also included in many Jewish legends as a symbol of good fortune and hope. The honey referenced in the Bible was a syrup made from fruit and was the epitome of sweetness and desirability to ancient Jews. May our sweet apples and honey remind us to appreciate and find contentment in life's healthier pleasures. May the wholesomeness of this simple fare nourish our hope and our will to work for the improvement of our lives and our world. Livriut b'te'avon. I do not have the level of balance required to do that with a microphone and cables and all of that. We are almost at the end. It says closing the service. We've had mourner's Kaddish. We did not assess shalom, which means announcements. Announcements first, shofar after. That's how this works. It's not, I didn't make up the rule. This is how it goes. Go to Addis. Hey, Kaddish is over. Time for announcements.
So first, there are quite a few thank yous. A lot of people worked to make this service happen so seamlessly. Check-in and security, Elaine and Barry Dancis, Emily Blake, Dunya Hecht, Jackie Kropman. For our family service, our leader, Rachel Hanadari, shofar blower, Solomon Sandler, family service, apples and honey preparation, David Barron, Mimi Brody, Michal Friedman. Our main service greeters, Amy Kotkin and Larry Lawrence. Main service seating coordinator, Kathy Bergman. Child care coordinator, Sharon Rosenberg. Our pianist, Adam Nam. Choir, Keith Campbell-Rosen, Misha Clive, Barry Dancis, Greg Greiza, Joy Markowitz, Joanna Pratt, Dory Reisman, Joyce Rosenthal. Our speaker, Joe Palka. Our readers, Eva Gerhardt, Shoshana Gitlin, Laura Praval, Jack Schwartz. Our main service, shofar blowers, Solomon Sandler, Everett Tabachman. Main service, apples, honey, honey cake, and juice preparation, Barbara Francisco, Shoshana Gitlin, Daniel Maurer, Mark Maurer. Our photographer, Raya Cradell. Our congregational administrator, Jackie Kropman, who keeps us all organized and makes sure that the trains run on time. Two very special thank yous to our rabbi, Jeremy Cradell, who pours his heart and soul into Machar and into high holidays and to ensuring that we all have an introspective and meaningful and thoughtful experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a very special thank you to Nadine Wetstein, who plans everything with respect to high holidays. I don't know how we would pull any of this off without her. It is countless hours of work. Thank you, Nadine. And then finally, the announcements part. So please join us for apples and honey and light refreshments after the service in the back. Our Kol Nidre service is Wednesday, October 1st at 7:30 here. Yom Kippur family service, Thursday morning, October 2nd at 9:30 a.m., followed by our main service at 10:30 a.m. We have been invited to a Yom Kippur break the fast. Fasting is not required, but break the fast. Machar families are invited to join Beth High at a community potluck at 6:30 on the evening of Yom Kippur, Thursday, October 2nd, at River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Bethesda. If you plan to come, and I hope that you do, please use the sign-up genius sent in the Machar Weekly News to indicate what you plan to bring, and if you're able to volunteer to help set up and tear down at the end. Our Sukkot celebration is on October the 5th, Sunday, from 10 to 1. That will be at Cabin John Regional Park, shelters J&K. We'll be with our partner congregations, Beth High and Kehila Chadashah. There's also a sign-up genius link in the weekly news. We hope to see you all there. Shana Tova.
We have a photo credit to add, which is Holly Campbell-Rosen, who brought a camera and is also taking photos today. We are working on a website, and so we want to say thank you to Holly for her work, and Mark Maurer, who also, he's not in the room because they went to do the apples and honey. I've also come to the conclusion, well, that all apples are family apples, so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying family apples. An important announcement for those who are coming on Yom Kippur. During the Yom Kippur family service, there will be a time where those present get a chance to assemble little baskets of cookies for folks at the shepherd's table soup kitchen that we work with. We need your cookies. Bring your cookies. Look, if you eat a few in the car, I don't know about it. It's fine. We don't expect that anybody fasts. But we would like you to bring the cookies because it's a fun opportunity for students to actually do a little bit of tzedakah during Yom Kippur. And if you happen to be fasting, setting aside the food and putting it into the baskets at least lets you touch some food. You know, sometimes the strings of hope that we have are thin, but a little bit of cookie dust. And if you lick the cookie dust while you're doing it, I'm not going to say anything. You know. So please bring your cookies on Yom Kippur Day. If you bring them on Kol Nidre, somebody who hasn't eaten dinner might sneak your cookies instead. We are on the middle of page 20 at the thing that says closing the service, which means we're going to be blowing the shofar again, which means we need our shofar blowers again, Everett and Solomon. Let us now listen to the voice of the shofar. Hava nishma kol shofar. Like a banner lifted high, it hearkens all the world to action for peace and freedom and compassion. Tikia. Shivarim. Teruah. Got some air over there? Tikia Gedolah. I can hear you without this thing on. Okay. Thank you to Everett and Solomon for putting all of that air through that tiny little hole. Not the easiest thing, right? Everett's like, yeah, I'm good, whatever. You can go sit back with your families for the brief moments that are left. In case you've ever wondered, you're actually not supposed to use a cow horn for a shofar. Ram's horns are fine. We have come together here today as the Jewish New Year begins to reconnect with each other and the extended family that is the Jewish people. We have celebrated progressive values and teachings which help us guide our lives and which we treasure as our heritage. We reflect on the imperative to improve ourselves and our community, our culture and our world. We are the stewards of a great legacy and the trailblazers of a vital, evolving civilization. We reflect on all that for which we feel grateful in life and look forward toward the new year. We will join together, led by the choir, in singing L'Shana Tova Umtuka, our closing song, which is number 21 in your hymnal section.